So thank you very much for those watching this interview today. I'm Daniel from Understanding ModernGov. This Learning and Development Professionals Forum is really aimed to help you support, retain and grow your staff. I'm delighted to be joined by Sandra Miller, who's one of our longest standing trainers. She's been working with us for the best part of 10 years now. She delivers a range of our verbal communications courses. Sandy, before I start asking you the questions, it would be great if you could tell us a bit more about yourself, your background, before we get into the questions.
Yes, of course. Well, welcome everybody, and thank you, Daniel, for this opportunity. So my name is Sandra Miller. When I left school, which was very clearly a very, very long time ago, I went to Manchester University, where I did a degree in drama. I finished that, loved it, but realised I still wanted to act, which had been my original desire. And I was lucky enough to get a place at RADA, the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in London. I did the acting course. I probably spent the first 10 years of my career acting more or less continuously. I was extremely lucky, touring theatres up and down the country. And then suddenly things got a bit less evident. And I started doing something called role playing, which many of you will have experienced. So it was a time when they were using professional actors to role play in various assessment and development centres. And I found that I really, really enjoyed the work. I absolutely loved the way people were developing and could learn through acting out various scenarios. And one thing led to another, and I started training. And that's what I spend the majority of my time doing now. And I think the idea of having an actor train is about using the talents of the actor with those of the academic, the civil servant, the business executive. It's about comparing the talents we have with those that you have, but making them even more evident so that you will be able to communicate with more impact.
Thank you. Perfect. Lovely. Thank you very much for that. So I've just sort of got a few questions to ask you, just in relation to that I think will be really useful for our audience. Sort of the first question is really, how does teaching presenting skills differ face-to-face and when you may be teaching virtually?
Great question. I suppose last March or whenever it was, we started to put courses online. I felt very, very apprehensive about how well it would come across, but actually it does work virtually. It works really, really well. I must say my personal preference is to be in the room live, but you asked about the differences. I guess the difference for me is the immediacy of the reaction. So you know instantly whether what you're saying is being understood. It's very easy and quick to iron out any issues, and you can try things out more readily. Now, that's not to say that you can't online. I suppose for me online, there's a certain formality that doesn't exist face to face. But having said that, do you know what? It works far, far better than I anticipated that it would.
Yeah.
I suppose for me, mainly it's about the speed of which people react to you and that you can react to them. That's the major difference for me.
Okay, thank you for that. And what's been the biggest lesson you've taken from training over the past 18 months?
Oh, great question too. Well, that people are resilient. I mean, extraordinarily resilient and very creative. And I think I've known both of those things, but I think the past 18 months has taught us that we've had to be, but serve our delegates. And it's been extraordinary how well, in my experience, delegates have dealt with being at home and just generally dealing with what on earth we've all been thrown in a way that's very productive. So yeah, I've learned that we're resilient. I've learned that we're creative. I've learned that people want to continue learning whatever is going on around them, and that for me is highly reassuring. And I've also learned that it doesn't matter if the Amazon man rings the doorbell. That is not the end of the day. You can regroup, restart, and everything's fine.
Thank you. And how do you assess if a delegate's learning has improved whilst teaching them online?
That's not difficult at all, Daniel, actually. You see it, you hear it, you feel it. So if I give someone some feedback and then get them to practice whatever it is that I've told them, you see instantly, in the same way that you do face-to-face, whether or not they've got it. Obviously, it's harder to gauge body language in its entirety. And I do think that presenting well is about using the whole of you, using your body, your breath, your voice in order to increase your personal impact. So that may be slightly harder to gauge, but not as hard as I would have first imagined. You really do witness progress. And also you see how confident people become. And for me, that's the best benefit of the training, is increased confidence.
Yeah, brilliant. And thank you so much for answering those questions. And thank you very much to those audience today viewing this. And we really hope you find this useful. And please take the time to check out the forum. And yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.